this is what Toronto will look like to start the game. Blair Turnbull scored a goal last time out against Seattle in the first 3 minutes, and you're looking at one of the best deep pairings in the league. Ella Shelton and Renata Fast both on Team Canada in Milan. Steve O'Rourke doesn't change his lines very much. He did tonight with a couple absences. Natalie Snodgrass now plays alongside Alex Carpenter and Jesse Eldridge. And Hannah Murphy gets the start between the pipes. 3 straight losses for Murphy after winning her first 3 starts. A .922 save percentage for the rookie out of Colgate. Reagan Kirk goes on the other side. She let up a career-high 6 goals the last time that these two teams met. And Allison, we are off and running in Game 15 for Seattle, Game 17 for Toronto. It's going to be a straight sprint to the finish line and the Walter Cup playoffs. We are so happy you're joining us, whether it's your 15th time watching the Torrent this year or your first. You're in for a treat here and going forward in the weeks and months to come. Here's Daryl Watts, top scorer on the Sceptres. Gets to her backhand, tries to get a shot off, drops it off, and they score! What a start for Toronto, and a beautiful pass by Watts. Jesse Comfort makes it 1-0.
Well, one thing that Troy Ryan told us coming into this game is that he wanted a little more patience to allow the best quality scoring chances to come up, and that's exactly what Daryl Watts does. She comes across the slot, carries the puck, pulls apart the focus of the defense that's there. Alex Carpenter ends up on the wrong side of the net, and Jesse Comfort is able to jump on that low slot puck and put it in the net.
Daryl Watts, top scorer for Team Canada in Milano Cortina with 8 points, 6 assists, and 2 goals. And you can tell she comes in at peak form. She is now up to 12 points on the year. One of 8 players in the PWHL with more than 50 career points.
And there's a lot for Seattle to manage here. This is a big night, return of Olympians, huge crowd. And sometimes that works for you and sometimes that works against you. So Seattle just has to get their minds fully focused, get back into this one right away. Maybe
easier for Seattle to flush because the last time these two teams met, Toronto jumped all over Seattle, scored 2 goals in the first 3 minutes. We ended up seeing 8 more goals and Seattle wins 6-4.
And you know Toronto's thinking about that as well.
100%. Here comes Emma Malte, another Team Canada Olympian, who is on this Toronto roster that sees 6 of their players come back with a silver medal here in 2026. Thrown in toward Murphy, and a save made by 83 in slate green. This is Kiara Zanin. Mariah Keppel sandwiched up against the boards against Dalton. Up to the top. Savannah Harmon down low. Brown hustling after it. Dalton trying to get in there as well. Both of these teams entered the Olympic break on a bit of a downswing after Seattle's 6-4 win against Toronto. They lost against Vancouver in a takeover tour game in Denver, and then were up 2-1 late in the game against Ottawa on the road. Let up 3 goals in the final 6 minutes and lost 4-2. Here's another shot from Watts, and Murphy able to glove that one. Daryl Watts has now scored a point in every single matchup against Seattle. Had 2 assists last time out, had a goal and an assist in their first meeting in a takeover tour game in Hamilton, Ontario. This is a Toronto team that sits 1 point above Seattle in the PWHL standings. Toronto 7th, Seattle 8th. They lost 3 straight heading into the Olympic break. Here's Watts down low, turns around, had a wide open goal, trying to get one in towards Murphy, and the puck is batted towards center ice. Watts, a lot of ice time already for number 9 in white. Looking for a pass between the circles, broken up, intended for Van Wieren. Watts will come off now. Toronto, after scoring 4 goals the last time they were here at Climate Pledge Arena, were shut out in 2 straight games before the break. Murphy gets a favorable whistle, never had it covered. Made a great point saying that Toronto's just as aware of the start they had in the last meeting as Seattle is. Head coach Troy Ryan, who's also the head coach of Team Canada, told us we just imploded, made a lot of mistakes in the middle and end of that game. made too many turnovers that sprung grade A chances for Seattle. Seattle still looking to set up their first extended time in the O-zone in this game, as Harmon able to backtrack and sling over to her D-line partner. Keppel shoots and comes all the way in on Kirk, who makes a pad save. First shot on goal for the Torrent tonight. This is Jenna Buglioni to Grant Mentis. Tries to get a shot in, and it's paddled away by Reagan Kirk. Michaela Grant Mentis centering the third line as she's done much of the year, but different forwards with her. Fans on the shot there. Nice recovery by Ellis Shelton to make sure it didn't get in on Kirk. Grant Mentis is playing alongside Brooke Bryant and Jenna Buglioni tonight. The fourth line looks like Lily Delianidis, Mara Wagner, and rookie making her first start, Sydney Langset. Intercepted by Bryant. Bryant trying to spring it out the other way, trying to thread a pass up to Grant Mentis. Fast quickly down the left side. Has Brown in front of her. Renata Fast coming off of 4 assists at the Olympic Games. This shot was deflected up into the netting for another stoppage. Had played most of the year with Natalie Snodgrass and Lexi Agia. Agia's on the top line tonight. Snodgrass is on the second line with Alex Carpenter. Again, third matchup of the year. Seattle won the last one 6-4. The first meeting was a shootout victory for the Seattle Torrent 3-2 in Hamilton, Ontario. Here's a shot from Turnbull, and it's deflected by the Olympian Kayla Barnes. Barnes marking Turnbull the whole way. Turnover. Poked away by Mara Wagner. Nice play by the Seattle native. Barnes fishing for it, and Ellis Shelton is back. Shelton works through the red line with a nice move past Snodgrass. Tried to get the entry, and Carpenter able to intercept. Here's Snodgrass now. Snodgrass one-on-one against Harmon. We'll put the brakes on and get it to Barnes. Barnes, left side. Barnes looking for a lane to shoot, and it's gloved by Reagan Kirk.
Well, Snodgrass had space. She was looking for someone to join, support the play, but she didn't have a pass.
1-0 Toronto after a goal less than 30 seconds in from Jesse Comfort. Sceptres 1, Torrent 0. The Seattle team certainly has responded plenty of times, and right now they're staring at a 1-goal deficit as opposed to a 2-goal deficit, which is what it was at this point, the last meeting. Face-off won by Toronto. That was just their second face-off win out of the first 7 in this game. Here's Blair Turnbull able to get a shot underneath the stick of Barnes all the way in to Hannah Murphy. Turnbull down low again, gets it over to Watts, and broken up on its way in toward goal.
Nice work there by Turnbull to shield the puck. Hannah Murphy couldn't really track it. She tries to set up Watts for a scoring chance, but no goal.
Blair Turnbull, such an impressive player and such an impressive career. Captain for the Toronto Sceptres, one of the alternates for Team Canada, and has been one of those multiple-time Olympians on Team Canada that we've grown so accustomed to seeing excel in international play and here in the PW. Head coach Troy Ryan has praised Turnbull's leadership as well, as she's off to the races now. Turnbull trying to spring out an opportunity, shoots, and a big save by Hannah Murphy. Able to get past Megan Carter, but Murphy with the answer on that one.
And you can just see how effective Toronto is in transition. They're the best in the league in terms of getting out of the zone with a pass. You saw it there, and then Blair Turnbull's off on the breakaway.
Clara Van Wieren has her pass broken up by the stick of Julia Gosling. Gosling trying to reach around and poke it away from Flanagan. Carter zips it up ahead to Agia, looking for Gosling. And just a bit strong, Allie Monroe turns it the other way. Hit laid by Megan Carter at the blue line. Taralova almost got it out.
First time Taralova plays Toronto this season. She was suspended during that first game and injured right before the break. So this is the first time she's seen the Sceptres, and vice versa, at least in this jersey.
Missed almost half of the games before the Olympic break. Played 7 games after dealing with a couple of injuries and that suspension for her hit on Sarah Fillier. Here's Brown looking for Elaine to shoot. She does, and it's deflected to the end boards off of Emma Malte. Buglioni bounces it off the boards past Emily Brown. Malte's going to try to win this race. Going up against Keppel. Keppel able to get to the corner first and move it along the end boards. Maggie Connors now against Grant Mentis. One more point on that last save, but really nice job by Murphy to cover up the 5-hole as Blair Turnbull was crashing in. Tough to do when a player's in that close range on you. Here's Malte now. Gets it to the outside. Turning around Renata Fast. Great stick handling from Fast. Reigning defender of the year in the league. Big block by Buglioni, the rookie. And icing as it went all the way down to the opposite corner. Face off. Jalmerson against Grant Mentis. Kiara Zanin to the left point. Shelton. Shelton shoots. Came all the way into Murphy. Able to snatch it.
Nice stop there by Murphy. It's just this crowd is just ready. It's so electric in this building. Sold every single ticket. You see Murphy. Now that's a really nice response because she expects that shot to go up high. It gets deflected and now it's completely low. You see her glove going for the play she's going to make, but this is what you want as a goaltender. You practice your stance, you practice your reaction so that sometimes you are in the right position so the puck hits you, and that's how you make the save. The process is as important as the result.
Yeah, just want to correct what I said. She did not snatch that out of the air. It was high stick down by Monroe and then able to sandwich that beneath her skate to draw the whistle. Carpenter shoots just wide. Eldridge into the corner. Looking for a backhand over to Snodgrass. Sceptres stepping in the way. And again, Toronto out the other way in transition. Turnbull from the outside. And Murphy will glove this one. This time, it actually was grabbed by 83.
Switch up for the Torrent in terms of who they're going to play in that. Schroeder saw the other two starts. CJ Jackson backing up just as they did in the last game when Toronto was here.
Corrine Schroeder not dressed tonight. As you said, CJ Jackson, the backup goalie for Seattle tonight. Slightly better stats than her counterpart Schroeder, though Schroeder has played in 2 more games. Quick face-off win and a shot blocked by Agia. Agia pressuring the other way. Megan Carter now. One of 3 former Toronto Sceptres with CJ Jackson and Julia Gosling. And Gosling has it on the near side boards. Tried to bounce it off of the glass to Danielle Serdachny. Serdachny had a beautiful assist to Jesse Eldridge in their last game against Ottawa. Puck stood up in the corner. Officials telling him to keep it moving. Ella Shelton. And a save by Murphy. Had such a great games too. Canada outplayed Team USA for much of the gold medal game, as Toronto has a shot blocked into the corner, but when they pulled the goalie with 2:04 remaining, a shot from Layla Edwards was tipped in by Hillary Knight to tie the game and send it to 3-on-3 overtime where Megan Keller would be the hero. Gosling, a big shot from the outside, and it's saved by Kirk. And
I was so nervous.
Such an amazing game. I was sure Canada was going to do Canada things. Yep.
Because they can. But just electric. I had chats going on with people all over. We were dying. But of course it was Hillary Knight. Of course. And again, bringing in that younger talent, Layla Edwards. Imagine what that athlete's going to bring to the PWHL. Just amazing.
And that all just a couple hours after an awesome bronze medal game in which Sweden was up 1-0. Switzerland claws back. They win in overtime thanks to Alina Mueller, who now has 2 bronze medal winning goals to her ledger. Here's Connors. Connors looking for the back door, and it just missed. Almost found Malte for their second goal.
Great work by Emily Brown there.
Able to disrupt that pass to that far post. Here's Keppel. Able to saucer it to Buglioni. Buglioni, a nice pass to Grant Mentis, who tries to work through. Fished away by Natalie Spooner. An amazing tournament. So many records broken across all teams that competed. And now we are back to the PWHL second half of the year. Here we go. 4 spots in the playoffs. A very tight table right now with Montreal and Boston tied for first at 30 points after the Victoires win last night in the first game back in the league from the break. 4-1 win against New York. Wilgren can't get it through, but doesn't give up on the play. Lauren Messier involved in the neutral zone. Back to Wilgren. Wilgren to her D-line partner, Barnes. Barnes able to dump as the team goes for a change. Mara Wagner out there now against Allie Monroe. Eldridge poked it back. Flanagan. Seattle pesky. Big hit by Wilgren against Messier on that near side glass. 7:15 to go in the first period. Our lone goal came 28 seconds in from Jessie Comfer, assisted by Daryl Watts.
And Messier drawing in her 3rd game of the season. Emma Gentry not traveling with Toronto on this trip, so a little bit of change in their lineup as well, but exciting to see her back in, see what she's going to be able to do. Troy Ryan looking for energy from her and her line tonight.
Played in games 2 and 3 of Toronto's season. This is her first action since December 4th. Played 4 years at Dartmouth. Messier off the post. Hjalmarsson just missed. Nearly had her first PWHL career point. After a great games for Team Sweden in which she had 5 points. And head coach Troy Ryan gave us a prediction pregame. He said, I just feel like Hjalmarsson's going to get that point here tonight. And she nearly did. Hjalmarsson, an alternate for team captain as well. Excuse me, Team Sweden as well. That was captained by Anna Shelbin, also on this Toronto roster. Here's Turnbull again. Turnbull in transition. Brown behind for Gosling. Gosling, Seattle's most recent shot. Space. Serdachny's in with Agia. Serdachny gets to her forehand between the circles, shoots, and it's blocked on its way in. Might have hit Harmon or perhaps Anna Shelbin. Serdachny hustling after it. Agia tries to seal it off from the end boards, but they get it out to Watts. Watts off to the races. Watts turns around Gosling, gets it to the far side boards. Watts still with it. Watts swerves back. Looks for Monroe. Monroe off the paddle of her stick. And to the boards again. Watts has had some high energy shifts. High wattage, too cheesy.
I said that during the break and you laughed. It's funny.
So the verdict is no.
Correct.
High wattage for Daryl Watts, who is up to 12 points and continues to tick her career points higher in the 50s. Bryant able to absorb the hit from Malte. Emma Malte. Keppel now. Keppel running after it. Fast gets there first. Keppel and Grant Mentis providing trouble for Fast, and they get the puck back. Nice teamwork by those two, who are roommates when they're on the road with Seattle. They were road roomies with Montreal last year as well. Glove down by Barnes to keep possession in the O-zone. Barnes looking for a deflection. Grant Mentis, here's Bryant, shoots. Grant Mentis, another shot, and sprawling out. Kirk able to make the stop.
We saw a couple bodies run into each other on some previous chances, and It's finding ways to read off each other effectively that's going to allow Seattle to get some more grade A looks at Kirk.
Daryl Watts started her career with Ottawa, scored 17 points there, so 39 for Toronto, and that passes her teammate Natalie Spooner, who is at 38 career points in a Toronto uniform. Really good chance for Seattle just before the break. Shots 10-5. Carpenter able to take it away. Won the most face-offs in the 2026 Olympics, did Carpenter. Her face-off win leads to this chance. The shot from Snodgrass blocked, but she gets another look at it. Serdachny now. It's back to her forehand, dumps it down low. Teralova looking for traffic, and it was broken up on its way in. Jessie Comfort the other way, throws it to Watts. Carter fresh off the bench, and she'll get there first.
Eldridge almost at the point of getting that 50-point club as well. 48 points for her.
Serdachny tries to get a shot off, pitches it back. Oh, wide open. Gosling takes a swing. And Teralova tries to keep it in. Nice job by Van Weeren to give Toronto a breather. Seattle right now is throwing pucks at the net, and they're getting traffic in front to disrupt Kirk and this Toronto D.
You can see them starting to find a little more confidence in their offensive game. They've been able to set up, as you said, in the offensive zone a little bit more effectively. And again, all new line combinations. They didn't even necessarily know what they'd have in the practice because not everyone was here with them in Seattle. So it's going to take a couple reps for them to know where each other is. You can see passes maybe just a couple inches off here and there. If they can start to connect, more looks at the goaltender.
And Allison, we've seen it at practice, but one thing this team practices a lot are net front chances. Shots from longer range, but creating bodies and traffic in front to get those deflections. They have some of the best net front players in the sport in Hillary Knight, Alex Carpenter, and now a lot of those other forwards and company doing the same. This is Mariah Keppel. Keppel partnered with Emily Brown as that third defensive pairing tonight. They've played together most of the year as D partners. Brown lays a hit on Zanin in the neutral zone. Punched back by Hjalmarsson. Hjalmarsson up ahead to a twisting Claire Dalton, and they were offside. 1:22 left in this first period.
And again, I know Toronto's record isn't necessarily reflective of this, but this is a tough test for Seattle. If you go back and look at what Toronto does at even strength, they're turning the second most shots per game, allowing the third fewest. So it is a lot of work to get into the offensive zone against them and get offense going.
Already have a goal here tonight in their first game back after the Olympics. Wilgren able to win possession and throw it along the boards. Carpenter closest to it. Shelvin turns it up ahead to Emma Malte. Malte crosses the red line. Snodgrass on her. Popped up, nearly skipped over the boards to the bench. And Carpenter will finish off her shift. Monroe throws it toward Murphy. Was had a little bit of a breather as Seattle has shifted this ice late in the first period. Under 40 seconds left. They throw Turnbull out there with Monroe. Monroe can't get it deep as a nice play by Kayla Barnes. Agia hustling after it against Callie Flanagan. Flanagan with speed to Monroe. Monroe stopped by Serdachny. Seattle starting to win more of these puck battles. They stay on side. Gosling back to Agia, and they score! Teralova in the slot. Her first goal with Seattle.
What a play by Lexi Agia here to set this up. You see Julia Gosling hold on to the puck. She's going to move it across the slot. And And just the patience there. Watch the puck get across there. Excuse me, that's Serdachny. Over to Teralova, who's able to get down. Just watch the patience here. She reads, she sees Teralova find that open ice. Regan Kirk is trying to come back to seal the post and can't get there in time.
2 straight games with a beautiful feed from Danielle Serdachny for a primary assist. Aneta Teralova had a goal in their most recent practice net front. She's practicing getting deeper in the offensive zone, and she has her first career goal with Seattle, second in her PWHL career. And this is a player who is at the Olympics too, who's playing some of her best hockey. And we start the second period. Eldridge out there with Snodgrass and Carpenter. Same forward line that started this game at the beginning of the first. Here's Watts. Watts, another nice pass to Turnbull, throwing it back in front. It's loose, and it comes out to Fast, top of the right wing circle. Swings it over to Shelton. Shelton looking for a lane to shoot. Deflected on its way in by Comfer. And we have a puck played with a high stick. Faceoff comes to the neutral zone. Well, one thing that stood out in Hannah Murphy's play all year, she's a very calm and composed goalie. She plays more composed and mature than a rookie and really doesn't let goals phase her. You saw that on full display in the first. Teralova hustling back with Megan Carter. Those two have been D partners for most of the year. Turnover to Malte. Malte tries to get space and fans on the shot. Spooner tips it back out to Connors. Here's Shelbin. Shelbin winds up, big shot, and it's swallowed up by Hannah Murphy.
And that Malte shot, you see her get the puck on her stick and then immediately fire it at Hannah Murphy. And, you know, this is a player who has a tremendous edge and aggression to her game. But what Troy Ryan wants to see her have when she has the puck on her stick is a little more patience. So aggression in play, patience with possession, he said. And I wonder if she'd waited just a split second more, she might have found a little bit more space there off in the left circle and maybe a better quality chance in terms of what she was generating.
I thought of the exact same point that Troy talked with us about before the game. He said Emma Malte is relentless in terms of pursuit of the puck, but he wants to see more patience when she possesses the puck. Wasn't able to get all of this shot. Shelbin did get a nice chance from the left point, but Murphy, the save. She's already made 2 in this second period.
And, you know, to be clear, you certainly do not want Malte to take away the aggressive side she has in all the other areas of her game. It's so valuable, that tenacity. It's what that edge that she plays with is what makes her so dangerous and more than just an offensive producer.
Able to provide a huge spark on line 3 for Canada at the Olympic Games. Played very well in the medal round and throughout the tournament. Finished with 2 points, both of them assists, coming against Germany in the quarterfinals and against Czechia in the group stage. Emma Malte played her college hockey at Ohio State. 5 years there with the Buckeyes. This is Comfort. Comfort tried to get it out to Turnbull. Turned over as Wildgren steps up. Wildgren works all the way through, keeps possession. Flicks it out to the boards or near it, where Wagner tosses down deep to Sydney Langseth. Langseth making her first career start here tonight. On the 4th line, played at Minnesota State. Graduated first in program history in games played at 162. This one comes toward the Seattle bench with speed, but Christine Bumstead and Steve O'Rourke able to duck out of the way. So you get a look at Langseth.
Well, you know I'd be remiss if I didn't make a comment on an Ohio State player.
Please.
David, and I asked Hannah Bilka before we went on air with her, their head coach at Ohio State, Nadine Muzzerall, coached both weekends and then flew over to Milan to watch all the Buckeyes that were in that gold medal game. And Hannah Bilka said she was there for probably 24 hours, but she did get to say hello to all of her former and current players.
Nice save from A shot by Carpenter. Reagan Kirk ready for it. Here's Wilgren. Wilgren makes a move to get past Woods. She shoots, and another save by Reagan Kirk. One other Ohio State Buckeye that you and I were texting about. How about Andrea Brandley of Team Switzerland? Perhaps the goalie of the tournament outside of the U.S. duo.
I remember watching her first game at Ohio State, and she just exploded onto the scene. Just a tremendous player, had played primarily against men before coming over to the NCAA and had to adjust to the women's game, did so quickly. Obviously went back to Europe, and now it's going to be really interesting to see, does she declare to come over to play in the PWHL?
Will be interesting to see between her and so many other players who we saw on full display at the games. Here's Barnes. Barnes shoots! And a nice job with the active stick by Maggie Connors. One by Malte. Harmon. Possession won back by Serdachny, who's tripped by Malte. The arms stay down. Still no penalties in this game. Serdachny still relentless, able to get it back to Agia. What a great play by Serdachny. Carter extra pass looking for Agia, and it's slapped away by Malte. Great shift for 27, who lays a hit to finish it off, sending Teralova down to the ice. Seattle with the puck, though. Here's Gosling. Gosling gains the zone down to Serdachny. Serdachny taps it down, has possession. Serdachny's been sharp tonight. Looking for space, still with it. Tried to shoot, and disrupted by Claire Dalton. Dalton up in her grill. Passes it through the neutral zone. Here's Shelbin. Shelbin in the corner against Teralova. Team Sweden and Team Czechia, respectively. Check that. It's Kiara Zanin. To the top. Shelton had her shot deflected. Fast. Scores! Renata Fast from a sharp angle. She might not have even been sure that that went in at first. And the Sceptres retake the lead.
That's just an impressive shot from below the goal line as well. Looks like it went behind Murphy. We'll get a clearer look here. No, bounces off of her stick and in, but just to have the decision making to go for that shot pass, maybe looking more for a rebound or a second chance, but just gets a little puck luck there with the redirect. Impressive confidence to take that shot from right there.
First goal of the year for Renata Fast. Reigning Defender of the Year, was a finalist for Billie Jean King MVP last season as well. Had 4 assists, including one in the gold medal game in the most recent Olympics. And where's the A for both Team Canada and Toronto? Off of Grant Mentis, and it leads to an opportunity. This is Zanin. Zanin all the way in. She shoots, and a save by Murphy. Brown with speed the other way to Buglioni. Buglioni plays it off the boards to herself. They're offside. Well, the camera shot right down that end line showed that Murphy had that post as sealed off as she could. I think if there was the redirection, it was that stick hand of Murphy that just leaked out from her chest a little bit. Might have caught the inside of her wrist or that blocker. As Carpenter gets possession and spins around, looks for a feed to Wilgren. Thrown to the neutral zone and all the way down. This will be icing. Thrown in front, Turnbull to Flanagan, down low, and a big save, a big couple of saves by Hannah Murphy. Once again, Hannah Murphy responding quickly. Be a goldfish, as Ted Lasso would say. On to the next play. Hannah Murphy has demonstrated that mentality all game. All season, really. Carter, poked away by Woods. This is Shelbin down low. Wagner, aggressive in pursuit. This is Delianidis now. Delianidis, the rookie out of Cornell, tries to throw it toward the crease. And Kirk jumps out to cover up. 13:54 left in the second period. A nice couple of saves by Hannah Murphy after Toronto's second goal. Renata Fast puts the Sceptres in front. Obviously, a lot of exciting players coming up from the college ranks as well. Team USA going young. Handful of players that are still finishing up their college careers and are eyeing a professional career here in the PWHL. Be sure to follow Jocks and Jills and listen to all their episodes. Interesting conversation they had about Team Sweden as well, and if they've outgrown Group B. A really great tournament for Sweden, who ran through that second of two groups and had a mild upset in the quarterfinals over Czechia. Played well against the U.S. You look at a 5-0 score, you don't think that it was a close game. It was the first time that the U.S. had been outshot in a period all tournament. It was against the Swedes, who lost the bronze medal game in a heartbreaker. Gosling looking for Agia, crashing in. And it comes back to the red line. Scooped up by Serdachny. Serdachny bounces it off the boards to Gosling. Fast the other way. Woods had it stripped from behind by Gosling. Quickly to Serdachny. Serdachny now working. Back to Gosling. Gosling looking for a lane. Shoots! And a blocker save by Kirk. Skipped up to the end glass on a nice sequence by the Torrent. Here's Keppel now. Keppel back to Emily Brown. Just missed! Kirk able to punch it out toward the corner. Scooped up by Keppel again. This is Serdachny. Serdachny shielding off fast. Looking for Agia. And Kirk able to throw her glove on it.
You put Lexi Agia on the other side of that line with that play, that physicality, that bite.
Right.
How she can bring. I like that trio early here for Coach Steve O'Rourke.
We've talked a lot about players coming back from the Olympic break in strong form and ready to play here in the second half of the season. How about Danielle Serdachny? In contention to be on Team Canada. Didn't end up making the roster. She is one of the hardest working players on the team. Always stays out late, working on different types of shootout attempts and stick handling. And it's starting to be rewarded here. This is a player with a ton of potential. And this will be our first penalty of the game.
2 minutes for slashing.
Natalie Snodgrass guilty of a slash. So Snodgrass will sit. Penalty killing unit of Carpenter, Teralova, Carter, and Eldridge. Beautiful pass across. This is a power play brought to you by Royale Tiger Towel Paper Towels. Power through tough messes. Teralova tries to skip it out and does. Carpenter looking for a shorty. Carpenter gets there, shoots and just missed. Oh, Alex Carpenter nearly scored another shorthanded goal, like Agia did in their last meeting against the Sceptres. This is a Toronto team with the second fewest power play goals in the league, just 4. 11.1% at 4 for 36. 1:15 left on their power play here.
Alex Carpenter just does so many things well.
Stepping through Connors, Agia out there now. Connors shields her off and gets it back to the right point. Harmon whistles it over to Connors. Back to Harmon. Flanagan just missed. Hit the inside of the post, but it stayed out. What a shot from Callie Flanagan. The Sceptres keep it going. This is Malte. Back to Flanagan. Flanagan dishes it off. Harmon, extra pass. And it just missed Connors. Flanagan circles back. 35 seconds left on the power play. Malte looking to shoot. Opts not to. Grant Mentis closest to her. Connors now. Connors drops it down to Turnbull. Turnbull shoots close range and a save by Murphy. Thrown up into the boards by Barnes. 20 seconds left. Agia tries to get it out, but can't. Flanagan has had a heck of a shift here. Harmon surveying. Back to Flanagan and a block by Agia. Flanagan down low to Harmon. Harmon looking to shoot. And it goes to the opposite corner. 2-1. And we're back to even strength. A big kill from the Torrent, who'd surrendered power play goals in 5 of their last 6 games.
That's a big confidence boost for Seattle. As you say, the PK has struggled this season a tiny bit better at home than on the road, but that's such an important ownership of momentum when you don't let a power play score on you. You can come out and feel more confident in the shifts that come after.
Here's Eldridge. Eldridge right side. Eldridge looking to shoot. Eldridge circles all the way around. Up top to Keppel. Keppel shoots and a save through traffic. Nice backdoor pass from Jesse Eldridge just off the face-off win. Chances on both sides. Toronto had no shots on goal on the power play, but lots of time in their O-zone and some good looks, including a shot from Callie Flanagan that hit off the post. We'll show you that when we have a moment. And Seattle nearly had a shorthanded goal with Alex Carpenter beating a couple of Sceptres out to the puck. This is Carpenter now coming off of 6 points at the Olympic Games. Did not play in the 2018 games, but did in 14 and 22, as this one's tipped by Snodgrass.
Well, Alex Carpenter can just do so many things right, and when she sees that loose puck, she's off to the races. Maybe if you're watching your first couple PWHL games, remember, if she scores that goal, the penalty kill's over. The Torrent returned to even strength, so a big opportunity, and then just off the pipes there for Toronto. That's the second post. A lot of shooters will tell you they take that as a good sign. It means you beat the goaltender. Turnbull
tries to get a shot off. Great recovery by Aneta Teralova. She has Seattle's lone goal, scored at 19:48 of the first period. Able to stop a shot on goal from Blair Turnbull. Here's Comfort to Watts. Watts gets space. She gets ahead, shoots and misses wide. Gosling now. Quick passing here. Serdachny has been sharp with Lexia Gia and Julia Gosling. Those three head off now. Actually, Serdachny's still out there. This is Shelbin now. Shelbin and the Sceptres were offside.
Watching for the effectiveness of Toronto on those breakouts. Are they connecting when they get into the offensive zone, or overthinking and missing the opportunity to set up a better scoring chance?
Something you've talked about a lot, but this team moves so well through the neutral zone and in transition, but that has to start in their own end with those breakouts, and something that the team worked on a lot over the break were breakouts and then entries. Emily Brown was tied up as Bryant able to shoulder off Lauren Messier. Nice pass from Grant Mentis to Buglioni. Had it bounce off of her skate. And now Keppel fighting against Woods. This is Buglioni now. Wilgren has it taken away by Connors. Maggie Connors, 2 points this year. Couple passes and bounces off of Kayla Barnes. Barnes scored a goal against Team Sweden in the semifinals of the Olympics. Turning around, Spooner tried to tuck it in. She has a goal in each game against Seattle this year, but couldn't punch that one past Hannah Murphy. Callie Flanagan with Delianitas up on her. Flanagan to Monroe. This one skipped up nearly to the Toronto bench. It'll draw a whistle, they say, out of play. 5:38 to go in this second period. A fantastic crowd on hand here in Seattle. We'll get you the attendance number when we come back. Not these two teams, but the last time Seattle played on a Friday night, it was their home opener the day after Thanksgiving against Minnesota. Then set a record for attendance at a women's hockey game in the U.S. at 16,014. That record was then broken in January at a takeover tour game down in D.C. that saw 17,228. Another great crowd here tonight. This is Murphy. Murphy waiting to get it over to Wilgren on the near side boards. Wilgren able to reach around a Sceptre and poke it to Carpenter, and the Torrent just mistimed the entry, barely offside as Snodgrass.
And that's just, again, it's that timing of the entries. That'll come as you get more familiar with new line mates.
Right.
You're again able to read off each other a little bit more effectively. But that line had such an identity too, and to your point, you want to see them bring that. I think we've definitely seen that with each of these three so far.
.447 to go. The attendance, 17,151 here tonight. And Congresswoman Vermilia Jayapal is in the house here tonight, getting huge cheers from the fans. All 17,151 of them.
Again, this crowd is just phenomenal, and you heard Hannah Bilka talk about it. We heard the Olympians talk about it in a press conference at the Space Needle the other day. Just the love that this city has given all of women's sports, this team, this league. It's incredible to see. And it's just proof that when you see what these athletes can do and what this game is all about, it's so easy to fall in love.
Head coach Steve O'Rourke talked about coming back to these fans ahead of the game. He said their energy is something we talk about constantly. It lifts our bench, it drives our compete level, and it makes Seattle such a special place to play. We've heard that from across this roster. Julia Gosling pregame, Hannah Bilka when we talked to her at the first intermission. It really is a special place that has warmly accepted their new women's hockey team, to say the least.
As some would say, everybody watches women's sports.
Carter, nice move to get past Shelbin. Carter scored her first goal of her career in her last meeting against Toronto. It was on a breakout chance. Looked like a seasoned winger on that goal. Magia able to get a shot down low, and Kirk pads it aside. Magia has goals in each of the first two meetings against Toronto. Serdachny tries to shoot through traffic, gets it back. Serdachny, patient, tips it back to Terralova. Winding up Magia, didn't get all of it. Goes to the end boards, kicked by Gosling. Magia able to break it out to the corner. Changed from the D as Keppel comes on. Off angle shot from Magia. Another save from Kirk off the end of goal, and Magia gets it back.
Torrent able to get a change here too, get some fresh legs on. Under heralded work by Aneta Terralova there on some retrievals to keep the puck in the zone earlier and get this possession really going for Seattle.
This has had the look of a power play, the way Seattle has had to keep the puck and able to make changes while they cycle it through the ozone. Lots of good passing and a couple good chances from Magia. Finally taken away by Hjalmarsson. Nearly tripped up by Grant Mentis, keeps her feet. Bryant gets it back. Bryant dancing along the blue line, and backhanded deep by Dalton as Toronto goes for a much needed change. 2:10 to go in the second period, a one-goal game. Icing. Face-off one, and Shelton tried to get a pass back. Loving the singing from the Seattle fans.
Well, as we were saying, these fans are the best.
Fast, shoots, and a hit off of a sweater coming in. Looks like Natalie Spooner, who nearly had a redirection. Keppel kicked it. Grant Mentis now racing against Shelton. Shelton able to twist it back to Malte. Malte turns up ice. Emma Malte goes past Eldridge, pushes it to Spooner. Terralova. Here's Carpenter, all alone. Alex Carpenter shoots, rebound, score! Natalie Snodgrass, her first in a Seattle uniform.
Fighting for possession, going for the second chance, following up on the puck. Toronto had possession there, but there's the takeaway. You got Eldridge gets it on her stick. Alex Carpenter drives in. We've seen that nose for the net. That first shot is stopped, but then Snodgrass is right where she needs to be, following that center lane drive. Blade is low. She's able to just tuck it right between Kirk's arm and body. I guess we don't need the middle of periods, David. We just need like the first couple minutes on either side.
Both goals for Seattle have come in the final 80 seconds of each period. As a shot from comfort comes all the way in on Murphy, who had to be ready with the pad save. That has to feel great for Natalie Snodgrass, who is part of an effective third line of Agia and Grant Mentis, and now paired with Eldridge and Carpenter, gets her first goal in a Seattle uniform.
When she'd taken that penalty earlier as well, so that's a great way to answer for that after her team kept the power play for Toronto off the board.
Had 2 or more shots in 5 of her last 7 games as well. Was getting chances and shots on goal. And like you said, Allison, you broke it down perfectly. Was in the exact right place to bang that rebound in. Not an easy puck to send toward goal as well. As Gia crashes in, shoots, and Kirk had to be ready with 12 seconds left. Seattle looking to take the lead for the first time all night.
Going back to the goal, Alex Carpenter just making things happen. You'll talk about the shot, and you should, but it's Alex Carpenter who just has no fear in her game. She'll just go right in, go right to net front, take that shot, and that's what sets up the goal.
Wilgren to Gosling. Wilgren trying to shield off Malte in the final 3 seconds. We have a whistle. I think this is going to be a late penalty. Whistle blows with 0.3 left, and Malte might get flagged here for an aggressive play.
Number 27, Toronto, 2 minutes for holding.
Face-off won by Hjalmarsson, and that brings us to the close of the second. 1 goal for each team in each of the first 2 periods, Allison. This has been an even game through 40 minutes. Seattle on the power play here as Carpenter's out there with Gosling. Teralova's on the first line of the power play. As well, down low, Gosling, a flipping puck, and it bounces to the corner. The other 2, Kayla Barnes and Jesse Eldridge. So they go with 2D on the power play, but Kayla Barnes drops down to that left side as opposed to by the blue line. They go back to Teralova. Teralova to Barnes. One-timer! The rebound was loose, and Gosling was turned around in front. This power play brought to you by Royale Tiger Towel, paper towels. Carpenter down low, spinning around, Gosling, and it went just past Eldridge, thrown to the boards by Blair Turnbull, the captain. Teralova, no look pass to Carpenter. A lot of extended time here for Seattle. They've been in the O-zone the whole time. Looking for a cross circle pass. Carpenter back to Teralova. Teralova fields, drops down. Carpenter looking for a lane to pass, goes back to Teralova. Barnes now. Barnes up top, Teralova winds up and shoots, and Kirk makes the save through the trees. Second unit comes out now. That's Brown, Wilgren, Serdachny, Snodgrass, and Grant Mentis. So another 2D, 3-forward power play. As Wilgren's at the top. 10 seconds left. They go to Grant Mentis. Grant Mentis back to Wilgren. Wilgren shoots, and a save by Kirk with 5 seconds left on the power play. Just want to go back to that most recent previous save from Reagan Kirk. It was really impressive on the Teralova slap shot. She made that save behind most of her body. Could have been Teralova's second goal.
A few years ago in the game, power play started to go to a more 4-forward, 1-defender look, and that's just to get more offensive firepower out there. But if you have blue liners who can be an offensive threat, put them out there.
Grant Mentis' shot missed wide, and a productive Seattle power play ends with 3 shots but no goals. Christine Bumstead, nicknamed Bummer, is the coach who mans the power play as Eldridge sauces it down low and missed Natalie Snodgrass. So Bumstead and the Seattle coaching staff making those changes that we'll maybe see more of going forward. Snodgrass able to settle the puck down on the end boards, taps it off the near side boards to Teralova. Teralova's had a great game, goes to Carter. Carter shoots, and another pad save by Kirk, who's been busy in the first 3 minutes of this period.
And some rebounds coming off Kirk, both in the power play, and there you saw one again as well. That's a challenge both for Toronto to try and jump on those loose pucks before Seattle can try and get a second or third look.
Eldridge in there all alone against Connors and Ellis Shelton. Great piece on Ellis Shelton that played in that second intermission. One of the many great stories from across the PWHL. Her family owns and operates a local farm back in Canada called Shellwood Farms. Gosling, tap of the puck, and it goes to the corner, picked up by Serdachny. Serdachny centering feed goes wide as Wilgren sets up. Gosling now. Gosling top of the right wing circle. Nice pass, good vision. Barnes stops and starts, looking back for Gosling off of the stick of Fast, as Toronto has been parked in their own zone here. Barnes winds up in another deflection. That one from Shelton, and it goes to the corner. Second in the league in blocks is Ellis Shelton, and makes a big one there. Stick down by Lexi Agia. Seattle not giving the puck up, just refusing to. As Agia tries to wind up, glove down by Barnes, who tries to keep it in, and Turnbull finally comes away with it. What a great first 4+ minutes for Seattle on the power play, and then even strength. Big save, Murphy punched it down with the blocker, and it's picked up by Wilgren. Wilgren looking for a home run pass to Grant Mentis, icing. Van Wieren takes the face off against Grant Mentis. More punk rock singing from the Seattle fans here. That's that grunge that this city is known for. Goal song, Paramore. You like that choice, right, Allison?
I love it.
Yeah. It's Ain't It Fun, is that right? I'm pretty sure. No, Misery Business.
Yes, Misery Business.
Harmon steps through. Toronto trying to shift the ice back. Off the outside of goal, might have hit the post. That was Emma Woods who threw it in towards Hannah Murphy. Jalmerson able to dump it in where it's picked up by Mariah Keppel. Keppel, someone who prides herself on winning a lot of foot races, says her identity is being a fast, defensive-minded D. Blocks a lot of shots as well. She's in the top 5 in the PWHL in blocks this season.
The Torrent blocked the most shots per game in the league this year. So they got a lot of weapons in terms of stepping into those shooting lanes, and also not just stepping into them, but not being afraid to step into them.
Grant Mentis is 5th on the team in blocks, but first by forward. She has nearly 20 this year, entering the game with 17. Toronto is winless in 4 straight road games. They have 3 regulation wins, 5 regulation losses on the road. As Malte comes out with Connors. 2-on-1, Malte shoots and scores!
Coming on, fighting after Natalie Spooner is going to bank that puck off the boards. She's just able to take advantage of the space, finds her shot, sets up, opens her hips at the last second, and is able to beat Murphy.
11th overall pick in the inaugural PWHL draft. A beautiful shot, too. That was top shelf. No chance Murphy could get to it.
And you can see why her coach wants her to be a little bit more patient with her possession, because she has the tools.
No doubt.
She is so offensively talented, and she's rounded out that game with the tenacious play. She recently got ranked in the tops among trash talkers in the league, too, so she's kind of doing a little bit of everything.
She likes to be hard to play against. It's a big part of her identity. Saw that on the international stage in Milano Cortina, and have seen it throughout her PWHL career. We're just getting word that Daryl Watts is questionable to return in this game with an illness as the cited reason. Looking for a pass to the back door with Grant Mentis, but Fast able to intercept. Bryant up quickly to get the puck back for the Torrent. Here's Brown now. Brown shifting to her left, throws it in. Went off the skate of Fast, who's also a premier blocker in the PWHL. Renata Fast. Picture perfect defense here, seals off Grant Mentis and slows the puck down in the corner where it's fished out by 13 in green. Brown goes back down low looking for Buglioni. Grant Mentis gets thrown into the goal, and Fast able to get the puck and lift it to the red line. Icing waved off here, comes all the way into the stick of Murphy as Keppel turns the other way. Keppel with speed, crosses the red line, now the blue. Gains the zone as Seattle goes for a change amongst their forwards. Stopped by Delianidis and just leaked past her stick. So Barnes runs back to it. Not a lot of stoppages here in this third period as Wagner gets down deep, working on Flanagan. Back up top, Wilgren. Wilgren shoots, and it was blocked on its way in. Might have been Delianidis who it hit off of. Langsa tied up with Claire DeGeorge. DeGeorge was the extra skater in Toronto's lineup here tonight. She is now getting some more ice time with Daryl Watts out. This one flipped all the way up into the netting. No delay of game. They weren't in their own zone. Emma Malte with a goal at 5:56 of the third, unassisted, puts Toronto in front. Seattle dominated possession first 4+ minutes of the period, starting with a power play and then some extended 5-on-5 ozone time. Here's another chance. Saved by Murphy. Puck's loose. Barnes sold out for the block, and Spooner runs it down with Malte. Malte, one-timer from Fast, and it's saved by Murphy. Wrestled out of her glove by Maggie Connors, and play continues. Barnes to Eldridge. Sharp pass from Barnes to start the breakout. Here's Serdachny. Been quiet since early in this game. Backhand shot against Fast, and it gets into Kirk, who makes another stop. Carter now to Terralova. Terralova, Gosling. Gosling toward the logo. Glove down by Gosling again. Tries to work past Harmon. Gets to it. Gosling shoots, and a save. Kirk. Nice play by Gosling to set up an ozone face-off. Kirk, another save. She is up to 22 saves on the night, the exact number that Hannah Murphy has for Seattle. Terralova goes over to Gosling, working left side, and another save. Kirk.
Well, I will say that Serdachny line that just got back to the bench after that shift. When you have a whole bunch of different forward combinations, that Serdachny line with Julia Gosling and Lexia Gia is really one that I think the coaches are going to like as they try and find the right rhythm with Hannah Bilka, Hillary Knight both out. Turnover,
and Hjalmarsson couldn't capitalize. Nice shot on the other end by Terralova, who is increasing that shot total here tonight. Missed 7 games before the Olympic break with injury and a couple to suspension. Starting to look toward goal a bit more and creating chances for Seattle. Found a goal on the back door on a beautiful pass from Serdachny. This is a clear penalty, and Fast is going to go to the box. Tied up Carpenter.
Toronto, number 14, 2 minutes for holding.
And they're both in pursuit of the puck here, and you can see that Fast just wraps up Carpenter there. That's what trips her up. Carpenter gets spun around.
They set up after Renata Fast goes to the box for 2 minutes with holding. Face-off won by Carpenter, her 16th face-off win of the night. Over 60% at the dot for Carpenter in her first game back from the Olympics. Down low after a pass from Gosling. Tries to get it back to Gosling. Gosling, a nice pass up top to Terralova. Barnes looking down low. Gosling tried to punch it in, but Kirk is privy to it. Makes another stop. Toronto can get some of their PKers out there after the stoppage. Malte is out there with Flanagan, Turnbull, as well as Monroe. This is Barnes now with less than 1:30 left on the power play. Carpenter up top, right wing circle, moving down toward the dot. Carpenter still with it. Goes back to Terralova. Terralova trying to catch Toronto out of position. Just bounced across and backhanded to the opposite corner by Gosling. Nice shot from Barnes. Here's Carpenter now, able to field the pass. Gosling Tried to pass back to Carpenter, and Flanagan able to get her stick up and clear.
And what's interesting is that power play was going away from a traditional 1-3-1, not really utilizing the bumper position, which is a fine strategy to take, but moving the puck a little differently, trying to sink a couple players low.
Serdachny against Turnbull, second unit of the power play out there. Snodgrass, who has Seattle's most recent goal, able to fight through bodies and get it to Wilgren. Wilgren right point. Grant Mentis now 1-on-2, trying to win a battle on the boards. And here's Turnbull. Turnbull against Brown, short-handed, will go for the clear and change. 2 shots for Seattle so far on their second power play. Just 12 seconds left. See if they have one last push before Fast bursts out of the box. Pass up ahead. This is Brown. Brown on Flanagan. All the way around looking for Grant Mentis. 2 seconds and 1. Fast is out. We're back to even strength. Serdachny able to get it to Wilgren. Grant Mentis tried to shoot, didn't get all of it, as Monroe was able to disrupt the shot. 7 minutes left in a 1-goal game. Seattle has played in 8 1-goal games. Toronto has played in 7. They had a game that went to a shootout in their first meeting of the year. Eventually won by Seattle 3-2. Icing with 6:28 to go. Seattle looking for a full 3 points. Toronto is as well. Toronto would hop Vancouver in the standings if they're able to get 3. Seattle would be able to jump over Toronto and move out of 8th if they win in regulation. Barnes down low, punched by the blocker of Kirk, and Carpenter looking for Eldridge behind goal. Toronto tries to break it out. Terralova steps up, finds Gosling. Gosling steering to her forehand, throws it toward the end line. Eldridge off the bar. Terralova shoots, another rebound. And Barnes able to keep it in. Spooner could not get it out. It goes all the way around. And Toronto has been backed up for a lot of this period. Seattle relentless on the forecheck. What seemed to be sure clears for Toronto have turned into extended time for Seattle around Reagan Kirk. It's just past Barnes, but it'll be icing, and it'll come back Seattle's way. Faceoff comes to the left of Kirk, won by Toronto. Can they get it out, though? Harmon harassed by Agia. Stepping up now, Serdachny. They do get it to the neutral zone. But Seattle quickly steers it back the other way. Coming up, Serdachny. Stopped by Shelton for a moment. Serdachny with a centering feed. Went all the way through. Carter doesn't let it get out. Goes up against her former teammate in Blair Turnbull. Serdachny now against Turnbull.
Kirk without a stick.
She's going to be able to reach over to it now as Toronto clears. Zanin with speed. Wilgren's back against Turnbull. Comes rifling the other way. Grant Mentis all alone. Grant Mentis against Fast. Brown shoots just wide. Good shot from Emily Brown. The Blue Liners have gotten active, ramping up their shot total here tonight. Aneta Terralova has 5 shots. That is a career high. We have a whistle behind the play. 4:06 to go. Toronto up by 1, but Seattle knocking at the door. Can they tie it up? Toronto looking for their first win in team history against Seattle, who has won 1 game in regulation, 1 game in a shootout in the season series. Seattle has been very aggressive in their O-zone. Toronto has had increasing trouble clearing. And the Seattle defenders have been all over the place on the offensive end. Barnes with 4 shots. Terralova with 5. Julia Gosling tied for the team lead in shots with 5 as well. She has an assist on the most recent goal from Snodgrass. This is Serdachny. Serdachny nudging it up ahead to Gosling. Back the other way. This is Dalton. Dalton, former Montreal Victoire. Teralova able to push her off the puck. Icing here as it missed the stick of Gosling in the neutral zone. Official attendance just read as a backhand shot is saved by Murphy off the faceoff win for Toronto. Earlier in the game, we had told you that Seattle just missed the U.S. record by less than 100 from that game in D.C.
Never been happier to be wrong, David.
A count was unofficial, as they say. They did not count all of the ticket scans. And we got a new U.S. record here tonight. Can Seattle pay it off with a win in front of 17,335 fans? Just past the blue line. From the wagging stick of Comfort. Here's Carpenter now. Carpenter gains the zone. Carpenter has an assist, just missed on the low shot as Gosling ties up Jesse Comfort. Seattle has pulled the goalie. Extra attacker out there. Eldridge, 2:07 to go. Carter stepping down. Comfort. Hjalmarsson now. Hjalmarsson shoots. Scores the empty netter. Her first career point.
With that first goal in front of another record-breaking crowd. 3 records broken this year alone in this league. You cannot doubt the power of this sport and how great it really is to be a part of.
The previous high at a women's hockey game in the U.S. prior to this season was a college hockey game at the Kohl Center between St. Cloud State and Wisconsin. Amrene Desbiens was the goalie for the Badgers in that game. Home opener for Seattle broke that record. Then the game in D.C. broke that record. And we're playing a game of leapfrog this season as another empty netter goes in from Callie Flanagan. And it's 5-2.
Here, Toronto, to go into the break like they did, this has to feel very, very good about their ability to execute, their ability to come back with energy after having so many players at the Olympics, tied for the most with 9. They have their legs, they have their energy, they start well, and they're able to pull through to a finish.
And the final score not going to be indicative of how close this game was. It was a 1-goal game for 58 minutes. An empty netter from Sarah Hjalmarsson at 18:02, and then 35 seconds later, Callie Flanagan with her second goal of the year. 4 players in this game across the 2 teams scoring their first goals of the year, including Teralova and Snodgrass on the Torrent side. But it's going to end in a loss. They'll go on the road next week against Ottawa. Toronto on the other side, they go up to Vancouver. Well, they will play on Sunday before they head home and take on Montreal in their last matchup against the Victoire this year. They've already played them 4 times, and I'll play them the 5th and final time on Tuesday. 6 seconds left. Toronto putting the finishing touches on a road win coming out of the Olympic break. They get a full 3 points. They move up a spot in the PWHL standings, and Seattle loses a tough one here at home. Their 8th regulation loss of the year and first to the Toronto Sceptres. This was an even game. Toronto just made more plays late and withstood that flurry of chances from the Torrent in the 3rd.